Hey everybody, how are you guys doing? Okay, so a little bit of update. We are about 10 days from the games, so everybody's training really hard in Invictus. Everybody's always rocking the Invictus shirts. Speaking of shirts, by the way, I got some really cool design that Charlotte and Natalie made for us. We have like the classical Strongfit shirt, which is going to be sold on the Invictus also website, and I have a really cool design with the burner questions that Charlotte made for me that looks so cool. I think you guys will like the shirt a lot. So back to it. Everything is going really good with Invictus. Everybody's ready. Kristen is here, Christy Atkins, Kristen Holty for the individuals on top of the team, and then Lauren, Ras, Garrett Fisher, everybody's training together. Sam Dancer is there. I had a really cool time with everybody. The intensity on like the Wednesday and Saturday Strongfit, Strongman workout is really high. They don't hate me right now, but they're pretty angry at me. Let's put it this way. Like actually, I think outside of Hunter, I got everybody to say the F word at some point. And Garrett is kind of angry at me every single week now. So it's, I guess it's working. But the intensity that I see in everybody's eyes when they train, like how hard they're pushing in a pain cave is really cool because they're ready. I like what I see, like the mindset, the intensity is really good right now. Like the training sessions are great, very hard, but they all made so much progress. They're actually further ahead than I thought they would be on the sprints. I mean, overall, I'm just very happy with how everybody has reacted to the training because trust me, it's hard, but the intensity that I see is awesome. And so, funny thing, we had a training session this morning with a lot of sandbags, which I'm sure they all hated me about even more. One of them actually popped, and so I had to redo one of them. And it was funny because CJ, when he saw the way I was closing the sandbag, right, CJ thought it was a perfect analogy for me. Basically, it's that closing system for the sandbag. It's a really good idea, by the way. I wouldn't say it's a genius because I'm not a genius, but it's a really smart idea. And I use a ring, a tennis ball, zip ties, and duct tape. So out of very basic material, I made something that works really well. It sounds like Strongfit, right? It's a mix of science, whatever I had, whatever works, and at the end, it works really well. And so actually it's funny because in the strongman world, I see everybody using my closing system for the sandbags now. So it's really cool. But it's funny because it's a perfect analogy for me. Again, it works really well because the idea is the sand pushes the ring into the tennis ball and it's stuck on the other side by the zip tie and the duct tape, so it never leaks. And that's exactly what I do. Everything is just very basic material, very basic idea, right? But applied correctly, and you get an awesome result. So that's how it works. And actually, I want to talk about that a little bit today. Is how do I come up with the ideas for Strongfit? Like how do I apply the exercises and everything? So as usual, I'm not going to tell you exactly what I do. I'm going to tell you how I do it. So to talk about that, like we talk about training the physical aspect, right, all the time. And my interest out there is the athletes, obviously, but it's a lot of the coaches, as you know that, because I want everybody to be, I want to help the movement specialist. And as a coach, it's not enough to just train the physical aspect. You have to train the mind, and you have to train the soul too. And that goes even not just training your athletes, for yourself as a coach, is you need to train, first of all, you need to train physically, right? Because you have to, be always conscious about how much pain we are putting our athletes through, right? What it's like to go into that, the depths of hell through that kind of training and climbing yourself out of it every single time and coming back. You need to keep your perspective out of that training. When you write the program, you have to remember almost what it feels like, stuff like that. It's very important. So you don't have to train at the game athletes level, obviously. There's only a few of them that can do that. But you have to train just so you keep that connection to the athletes. It'll make you a better coach and a better person anyway, right? And so training is great. But as a coach, you also have to train your mind and you have to train your soul, right? Those mind, body, mind, and soul, right? The Trinity, you have to train all three. So how do you train your soul? I don't know if training is the right term, like, taking care of, let's say, your body, taking care of your mind, taking care of your soul. How do I train my soul? Well, it's very simple. Like the first way is by helping someone, That's it. It's the easiest way to help your soul is go help someone. For me, it's all those people that I have, that come to me that are hurt, and hurt to the point where there's a certain despair in them, like where he got, they got so hurt, he got so bad that, so as usual, they go see doctors and everything. And basically, the options the doctor is giving them is just quit on life, quit on everything you've been doing to this part. Like you used to train hard, you used to lift, you used to do all those things, and quit. Stop lifting weights, stop going hard, everything. And to me, that will never be an answer, because I'm one of those where I cannot not train. Right? I had many lives before and many jobs I could have done, but the fact is I can never stop training. I just lose my mind, right? I can't, 9 to 5 and everything, make me too tired to train at night. I start to lose it. I am someone who needs to train to stay like sane mentally. And so if you were to take that away from me because of an injury, it would really destroy who I am. I'm 42 now, and so I've been lifting weights for 25. Right, being at a high competitive, as a high competitive athlete for over 30 years now, because I started with soccer when I was a kid. So this is who I am, at least part of who I am. Obviously, I'm more than just that, but this is really a part of who I am. That person who trains a certain way, who pushes the boundaries of physicality, amongst other things, that far. If you were to take that away from me because of back problem or stuff like that, it would change who I am, not for the best, I'm guessing. And so I have people that come to me that are in that situation where they, because of imbalances, right, their body got so bad that they got to that stage where the doctor are telling them, well, your life is about to change for the worse. You will basically stop lifting with intensity from now on. And I can see in their eyes like what it does to them. It's a despair that goes straight to their soul. And so I had many like that. Like I remember the lady I talk about with the sandbag all the time, or my athletes Ali, who were 10 weeks away from, from a debilitating injury, like not just like bulging disc, like fusing the disc, surgery or stuff like that. And so instead of the 10 weeks away to the right where their life is done, basically, and you kill a little bit of who they are, there's 10 weeks on the left. After 10 weeks, they're back to where they were. They're back to who they were, where they can train with intensity and everything. And you see that look on their face that they give you, like after going through exertion when they push so hard. And it's more than happiness. It's more than just relief. It's that who they are that comes back out, that they give you that smile, that they're sweaty and everything, but they have that fire in their eyes, right? And they give you that smile, and then you see that person, like who that person really is, that at that moment, with that smile, that intensity, that finally is back out there, where the world is not sitting on their shoulders anymore. And when I see that smile, my soul sings. That's it. That's what makes my soul sings, is that smile, that particular look on their face, that smile. They turn around and they just push themselves again, and you can tell, like they physically, mentally, like their mind, their body, their soul just feels so happy. And to me, that's it. That's to me that will always be the greatest gift, is to see that smile on people's face. I mean, and that's really why I do it, because it fulfills something that is inside, really. So it's never worked for me, because I want to work with athletes that are hurt, and I see that happiness going through them for being able to finally perform instead of the level of pain they were in before. That will always replace any kind of money I can get. This will never be work, right? Because it touches me so deep inside that I don't know, I feel like it's, I'm communicating soul to soul, like one human being to another human being when it's like that. And I feel actually make a change in that person's life, like for the better. I mean, like, not just them, but then their family, their friends, everything. Like, the world is a better place when someone went from that dark place to that good place like that, and back to who they were as a person. It's just, the world is a better place when we have that light versus that darkness. I mean, and that's why I do it. So that's one of the ways really I take care of my soul. The other way is, honestly, is the harness pull. Because one, like, so you people, I don't know, you strap the harness, you have the weight over there on the prowler, and you have to bear crawl your way, let's say like 100 feet with as much weight as you can take. And this has to be probably one of the hardest feelings I ever had in my life, where, you know, like you choose a weight over time, because I've been doing this for years, so you build intensity every single session, and you get to that moment where the last 20 feet, like your mind is, your body is screaming to stop, right? And your mind is broken, honestly, and the only reason you go the last 20 feet is because you told yourself you were going to not stop. You were going to go there. I mean, and I've been doing that so many times. Before I start, I know what's coming. So to me, it's not a training session. There is 100 feet. And at the end of that line over there is a different person, is a better me, right? Wherever I start here, I know that by the time I go there, that fire will have cleansed my soul in a way, will have cleansed me. At the end of that line is a better me, is a better person. Nothing in life is that simple, right? I can't think about anything else. I mean, I'm sure like the Navy SEALs, like, or, you know, water testing, other people have their ways of doing this. But to me, it's the harness which has, it's nobody else around, by the way. It's not during a class. I do that on my own. And I'll load as much as I can. And then I look at that line over there. And sometimes I have to psych myself up, so it takes me a few minutes. But I look at that line, and I know who I am when I start here. But I know the person that will take that weight over there on that line. And when I reach that line and I don't stop, because I'm not pushing out, and everything is screaming, but I finish, even though I'm going to feel like I'm going to pass out for 15 minutes, I know I'm a better person there than I was when I started. And that's not just training my mind, that's training my soul, because that's, you know, bettering humankind starts also with me. I try always to be a better person, a better human being. Don't get me wrong, I fail like everybody else. I make my own share of mistakes in life. I made many of them, and I'll make so many more on top of it. But I had good moments. I had moments where I felt I was trying, in that way I was trying my best to become a better human being, right? By through the challenge. It doesn't matter of the challenge. Some people do it differently, but for me, the prowler was always a way to accomplish something, to have that goal of 100 feet. I have to make that line, going through that pain and everything, becoming a better person, right? And so those are the two ways that I train my soul in a way. For the mind, it's a little bit different. Like the first time is always that's on a side note, it's the prowler, because, you know, like once you but that's not for the soul. It's more like the prowler sprints, for example. It's funny because by the fifth one you want to quit. It's ridiculous when everything starts cramping. Sorry, I'm being attacked by ants suddenly. The prowler, by the fifth sprint you want to quit. It's ridiculously painful and everything. And training my mind for me is just that, is giving me one more to go. But one more, not just, you know, like not grinding through it. Is one more where I'm going to give everything I have one more time. And I know what the result is going to be. It's going to make me cramp even more. So I know by giving like everything I had, when I get there, it's going to suck. You know, it's like, I know already what is coming, right? But the clock is ticking, 3, 2, 1. And the key at that particular moment is giving 100%, right? Same thing. You go over there, you give me like that parallel sprint 12 seconds. You're going to finish under the 14 seconds because you're going to give me everything that you can. And those sessions, I'll stop until I cramp so bad, I crumble. And every single time in my head, I'm like, you could have done one more. You could always give me one more sprint. I mean, like, the level of pain is ridiculous, because when you start cramping after that, I wish I had not done that extra set, usually for 15 minutes. I try to hide it, so I go in a corner so nobody takes a picture, you know, like with a selfie and everything. But I feel like all of you that this sucks, and I hate the guy programming it just as much as you guys do, just so you know. But for my mind, that's always been the best one, is to go into those ones where I know the cramping, the pain is coming, but you're going to give me one more set and give me everything you have. And it's important that I do that too, because I put so many of my athletes in it. It's very important that I keep the connection to all this. So I do that. I'll do those sprints quite often. And the second way I train my mind, that's actually what I really want to talk about in this video, is how do I solve all those problems, right? How do I do my assessment? How did I create the system of Strongfit? How did the closing system for the sandbag? How do I do all this? Okay, so it's actually a way, it's a method of visualization, I guess, but it's a little bit differently. It's something that is called, that some people have used for memory, right? They call it the memory palace. It's a house that you build. I use that, but not for memory. I use it for problem solving. So it's Einstein who said, I am not smarter than my fellow men, which by the way wasn't true. He was smarter. I'm not smarter than my fellow men, I just stick with problems longer. That's actually the key, is to have a problem in the back of your head that keeps on spinning, right? Because you're not that far off from the solution. There is a solution, right? So you kind of see, but not really. Like you're like, I know there's a problem there, I just don't know how to address it, right? The key is to keep it in the back of your mind and to let it spin, right? Because it's gonna take so many hours, so many days, so many weeks, so many months for the solution to come to you. And so the key is to leave it in the back of the head spinning. So how do you do that? This is my way of doing it. Like, imagine so you're gonna build a house, right? The house can be anything you want, right? Make it pretty. By the way, you can use pictures, like design, interior design pictures and everything, but you have to be able to build a house. You have to be able to visualize every single thing, right? What is the outside looking? How many windows? Is it white? Is it pink? Anything, like how do you go into the house, right? So you have to design the house in your mind. So a lot of this is gonna require a lot of concentration, but the more you do it, the better you get at it, right? So you build a house. It's a palace. It can be anything you want. So now you step into that house, you get to the door. By the way, what does door look like? For me, it's a wooden door, a big wooden door. It's about 2 meters tall. It has the round arc and everything. It's a beautiful, beautiful laminated, thick wood, like just not laminated, like with a thin, like it's a thick, strong wood. I can almost smell it when I get there, right? And so I like wood. So it gets me there. Then I open the door. By the way, I can visualize the knob in order to turn. It's actually made of metal, black, with like a thing like this of black metal and everything that I grab to turn and everything. So I visualize that. Then I go up the stairs again. So visualize how many stairs to get there. Then I get into a room, right? Color up to you guys. In that room there is a chalkboard. On that chalkboard there is my system. That is basically the chalkboard that you saw at my gym, if you saw on Instagram, when I have all the Strongfit system and everything. On that chalkboard is my entire system. I can visualize every single part of that system, right? That is the prism that I use when I do an assessment. So every single time I have a problem with an athlete, right, I will go through my house, right? I will open the wooden door. I will go up the stairs and I will go into my room. And into my room, I can look at the chalkboard and see whatever the entire system is. Every single step is very clear in my mind. I can just sit in that room. There is a chair there. It's a bar stool. I just sit on it like I'm sitting right here, elbows there, and I look at the chalkboard right there. And I'm looking at the entire system, and that entire system I'm going to superpose to the problem that athlete has. And that's how I solve problems, basically. Is always going into the house, going up the stairs, going into the room, looking at my system. And that's actually how I build the system. So for example, that room has a room on the right. I step to the right, I go into the next room. Color is the same. There's another chalkboard. On the chalkboard there is the rotation system. Push-pull, squat hinge, internal, external rotation. That's where that problem was solved, was in that room. So that's on that chalkboard. And if actually I go into a third room, there is on the chalkboard right there an entire system based on the range of motion versus tension. Right? I talk about it all the time. Mobility is flexibility under tension. So there is a relationship between the range of motion and the amount of torque that you can apply at the end of the range of motion. And that defines your true mobility. So mobility has to do versus torque. So mobility would be torque versus flexibility at the end of range of motion. So all this, I'm trying to build a figure, like geometric figure like I like, a system based on that. That would have to do with the range of motion where you can apply torque would define your mobility, right? So that problem is on the chalkboard. On the third room, on the right. First room, second room, third room, right? On that chalkboard, there is that problem right there. The chalkboard is a little bit fuzzy because I haven't quite figured out exactly how I'm going to do this. But all the components are there. I got the torque here, I got the range of motion there, and all the components are there. I just don't know how to apply them together quite yet, right? So when I look at so I go into the third room, first room, second room, third room. When I look at the chalkboard, it's still fuzzy, right? I haven't clarified exactly how I want to do these pieces everywhere. It's a little bit chaotic. I haven't been able to assemble the entire thing. And so, but that chalkboard has been there for a few weeks now. And I build a room, I build a chalkboard, I put all the information on the chalkboard, and it's been sitting there now for a few weeks, and it's going to spin there. Basically, it's going to stay there, and things are going to spin there, trying to put themselves together until I figure out exactly what I want to do with it. And so every time when I have some time during the day, I go to my house, I open the door, I go up the stairs, I go in the first room, where I have all my system. I go to the second room, where I have the torque, the rotation. Then I go into my third room, and then I look at the board, and I look at the different pieces together, and then they're trying to dance, trying to get together, but it doesn't quite work, and I try to focus on that, to concentrate on that, to make the board a little bit clearer into my head. I don't have to solve it that day. All I'm trying to do is to make everything a little bit more clear, a little bit more focused, right? A little bit less chaotic. And this is how I solve that problem, right? Is doing something like that. And this is basically how I train my mind. That at first it takes a while to be able to create the house like that. But once you have it, it's you can go up to your house anytime you want. It's almost like a feeling. And then you go there, and then there's those lights that are very clearly in my head where each things belong and everything. And that allows me to fix problems like that. That's exactly what I did for the closing system for the sandbag. Like at first I was like, okay, how do I close this? And then what do I have? And so then I started to play with a tennis ball, and I had zip ties, but that didn't work out. And so blah, 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 blah. I let the problem spin in my head. And eventually I was like, well, what is it that I'm trying to do? Because you always come down to that. Like, it's like, okay, I'm trying to, so if the sand pushes the ring into the tennis ball, then it can't go anywhere. I was like, okay, that's what I need. And so how do I stop the ball from moving now? Oh, I'm just going to put zip ties and duct tape, and then I don't have to change it until a few weeks. And I was like, oh, okay, that was actually smart. And then he moved forward. So that's actually exactly the way I figured, like all my system for Strongfit was like, I said, what do I need? What do I have? What are the rules, right? You need always to define the rules of engagement. What are the rules I have to follow? What do I have? And what do I need to do? And out of those three, if you put those three on a chalkboard like that, eventually the answer will come to you. So that's how I train my mind. It's actually been used for memory things, like when you go into a house, you go into a room, the room has a dresser, you open the dresser, there's many folders there, each folder has a page, and on the page is written something. And if you train yourself enough, you can actually memorize things like that. It's a very Marcel Proust, the French writer, actually was doing that. He called it the memory palace. It's a great way for memory. I use it for problem solving, right? That's how I visualize problem solving, is doing it that way. It does require some practice, but that's a great way to train your mind. Like really train your mind is for you out there. So I love the physicality of the prowler to make you stronger, but also go learn something new, man. Go learn to play chess. You play chess, then get better. Spend an hour a day learning to do something. Go read a book about Sir Isaac Newton, about Albert Einstein, not just novels, but actually great people that you admire. Go read about their lives, because trust me, they struggled, they made mistakes, but they found ways to surpass that. And that's what you want to see, is go see how great humanity is out there, like especially right now when not everything is going well. Go remind yourself how great men is, right? Because they were great humanists, they were great thinkers, they were great people in every century, and some of them were remarkable people. And go out there and just read their lives, see their struggle, but just see how great mankind can be, right? It's always a good thing to see. So go train your mind, not just your body. Go train your soul, go help someone, right? Go save someone. That's the best thing you can do for yourself. And then after that, go train your mind. Go become better. So go read something, go learn to play chess, go do stuff. And you always have some time every day to build that castle, that house, right? You can do it every day. Just spend a little bit, spend 10 minutes every day, but build a house, build the rooms. And you have to go back to that rooms on a regular basis so it stays clear in your eye and everything, but it's been done before many times. It can be done. You can build that palace inside your head, and eventually you can associate smell and feels with that place. Like this can be a place where what you call home is inside your head. There's that room where nobody can touch you. That's probably the best panic room there is. You don't need one in your house. You need one in your head. So build one in your head, a place where nobody can touch. Just make it a maze. Build a house. Inside the house, you go up the stairs. There's a maze. The only person that can find that room is you, right? And you build it the way you want. You put whatever you want in it. And if you go there on a regular basis, it'll be clear as day. And in that room, no one can touch you. And that my room is where I put my system and everything. I go there quite often because then I don't need to see the chalkboard. It's already up there. I can always tell all my system just by looking at it, because I can go inside the house very fast, up the stairs, first room, boom, it's right there. I see my system, and so you can create room for anything like that. It's a great way of doing. You can have pictures of my daughter in another room that I can look at all the time whenever I want. Things like that. That's build a palace in your head. This is probably the best thing for your mind that you can ever do. And after that, as many rooms as you want to be, you can put any information you want in it. This is probably, coaches, but anybody out there, the greatest tool you can ever had is a palace in your head that you build, okay? So play with it, 10 minutes a day, build a room, and you can make great things happen down there, okay? Remember, your mind is the most powerful thing, way more powerful than your body, and that's why you want to train first. The mind will follow. Don't worry. The body will follow. Don't worry. If you have a strong mind, have a good soul, right? Clean. Have a clean soul. Have a good mind, strong mind. Your body will be great. You won't have to worry about that. And trust me, after that, performance is a piece of cake. Performance is the top of the pyramid. The first layer is your soul. Have a good soul. Put a strong mind on it. The top of the pyramid is your body, and this performance on top of that. That's going to be the easiest thing you've ever done. Train your soul. Train your mind, train your body, okay? Beyond the questions, see you guys soon.